what do drawings and business have in common? Let me tell you a story to illustrate that. The journey through my master's program started with some disheartening feedback in my first paper, and it cast fear and doubt all over myself. Your English is not good enough for a master's program. Make sure you proofread your paper before you submit next time. As if I had not read and reread that paper about 487 times before I submitted it. Back then, I had been in Montreal for about 5 years. Something about the diversity and multiculturalism of this place captivated me since the beginning. I had done okay, grasping both local languages, English and French. I've gotten a good job at a financial institution. I had an interview and got accepted to this program. Yet, any sense of accomplishment I had was turned down by these comments. It really knocked me down. Being constantly faced with criticism about my English led me to find a tool, a solution that became my purpose, my work, and that I have since used with hundreds of people who have benefited from this power. Visual notes, or doodles, as some people call them, gave me the confidence to speak up without the fear of not being understood. They helped me put myself out there, and today I want to show you how visual notes can help you. Before we get started though, I want to walk you through a series of scenarios. So please close your eyes. And as I describe this, just nod whenever I'm giving a sentence or a statement that you resonate with. Have you ever been in a meeting where you feel disconnected? Have you witnessed a conversation between two people where you are absolutely sure they're not on the same page, yet they keep moving forward? Have you collaborated with a department where you feel you're both speaking different languages? You know, like when HR or marketing meets with finance. Or have you at any point felt overwhelmed or disconnected by a task at work? Open your eyes. By the number of nodding I saw in the room, I can assure you that you're not alone. And I have good news for you. If you resonated with at least one of these scenarios, visual notes can help you turn these scenarios around. And you might be asking by now, what are visual notes? Well, they're the perfect blend between images and text, presented in a nonlinear way so we can visualize patterns and see connections. How many of you can recall any of the 3 points I just shared? What about? They're the perfect blend between text and images, presented in a nonlinear way so we can see patterns and visualize connections. Now, you can call them visual notes, sketch notes, mind maps, infographics. It doesn't matter. My invitation for you today is to start using them. And before I tell you how to get started, I want to make sure that I leave you with at least 3 ways visual notes can help you. 1, visual notes can help you reconnect with your creative self and increase your confidence. Can you please raise your hand if you used to draw as a kid? Look around. Can you keep your hand up if you still draw often? And look around again. The sad news are that most of us stop drawing when we grow up. Somewhere in that process, we're meant to believe that drawing is just for kids or for designers. So we take ourselves out of this select group of people who are allowed to draw. And by doing that, we're doing a disservice to ourselves and others. Visual notes have gave me the confidence to put myself out there and share my ideas. And they can do the same with you, so you can share your ideas for others to see. 2, Visual notes can help you take down language barriers and create an inclusive space for conversations. They're an amazing tool for any team, especially diverse team, because you can see and discuss your ideas live. They can also be a really good tool next time that you visit a place where you don't speak the local language. So I invite you to pack some pen and paper. Now, to illustrate the point, I want you to look at this image and tell me what you see. Flowers. Okay. These are just, thank you, these are just some of the images that, or answers that I've gotten from teams where I use this activity. And I think it's a perfect illustration of what happened during our conversations. You know, let's say we're a team. We get faced with a challenge, and I have an idea, and I build up the confidence to share that idea with you. And as I share that idea, people are nodding and smiling, and I'm excited because you're right there with me. But what might be happening is that as I explain my idea, the scribble in this example, you might be seeing an infinity sign while I'm trying to explain a flower. And that is why when people talk about the power of visual notes and the wow effect about the aesthetic of it, I challenge the idea. I believe the wow effect of visual notes is about comprehension. It's about giving us a tool where we can grasp key concepts fast and have a conversation right there and then about our different perspectives. Number 3, visual notes can help you increase your innovation skills and create a call to action. I grew up thinking that work is hard and that's why they pay me. Can you resonate with that? I didn't even challenge the idea. And if it would have not been for some unfortunate experiences I had at what I would have called the beginning of my corporate career, I might still be there, at a job where I was not happy, not knowing that there was other ways to do work. And by no means I'm telling you to quit your job. I'm just highlighting that becoming more innovative and making work fun, yet productive, is at our fingertips. I've used visual notes to energize teams, to push people out of the comfort zone. But most importantly, I use them to create that fulfilling sentiment that we get every time that we have a creative idea. Do you remember last time you had an idea you were proud of? How did you feel? It's been proven that after having a creative idea, we experience joy. And joy increases our intrinsic motivation. That motivation within us, that is the one that really makes us take action. So in summary, visual notes give us access to ideas that we otherwise wouldn't have access to. They create a playground for us to take ourselves out of that linear, traditional way of thinking. They let us experience joy and therefore increase our creative thinking. My question is, how come if creativity and innovation are skills sought after employees, we tend to neglect creating spaces where we can build these skills? Now, I hope by now you're excited and you want to get started with visual notes. So I'm going to give you 3 tips that will let you get started with visual notes today. Tip number 1, simplify. Remember, we're not looking for any poster for a gallery exhibition. We're looking for simple icons that will help us remember important things. Now, are you able to draw a circle? Thank you. Amazing. Are you able to draw a square? Perfect. What about drawing some lines? Okay. You're all ready to get started taking visual notes. And remember, you told me you were able to draw these shapes. I'm going to walk you through the process of drawing a person. All we need is a circle for the head, a rectangle for the body, and some lines for the arms, legs, and facial expressions. The only difference between this person and the stickman you used to draw is that we're changing the line in the middle for a rectangle so our arms are not coming out of our stomach. Now, tip number 2. Leave space in your life to create micro-creative habits. We're building a new skill, and like with any other skill, we need to take steps. So, one doesn't go on and put running shoes and runs 42 kilometers the first day. We need to take some steps to be ready to run that marathon. And we're gonna do exactly the same thing with our creative skills, starting by our mindset. Next time you tell yourself, I don't know how to draw, let's change that by, it's been a while since last time I drew. Let's give it a try today. And you all told me you used to draw as a kid. So you know how to do it, you just haven't done it in a while. Now, I literally want you to get started. Not now maybe, but Monday. Next time you do your to-do list, instead of doing a traditional bullet point like this one, I want you to add some icons in front of each of your tasks. You might be saying, but how is that gonna help me? There's 2 ways in which that's gonna help you. The first one, we're gonna create a joyful experience around creating our to-do list, which would give you some joy, and therefore you wanna look at it more often and complete all your tasks. You're welcome. And also, because it's a private task, you don't have to share it with anyone. So it doesn't matter if the icons do not look perfect. They don't have to be Instagram worthy, unless you put that pressure on yourself. Which brings me to my 3rd point. Use a pen and not a pencil. Pencils are the worst enemies for perfectionists. And I tell you by personal experience. We know the eraser is right there. We erase every single line 1,000 times because it's not what I was expected, because my face looks like you know what, and we keep that internal dialogue going on and on. We're not looking for perfection. We're looking for icons, and we're building a skill. So embrace what comes your way. Next time you don't like the line that came out of your pen, embrace improv mindset. And if you haven't heard about improv mindset, people who practice improv, instead of answering no, they say yes and. So I invite you to say yes and to your next line and embrace whatever comes your way. If the icon is not perfect, it doesn't matter. If you need to change it for something else, change it. And if you need to start with more simple icons, you can change the bill for just a money sign to remind you to pay your bills. It's been quite the journey. Since I started using visual notes, I found a lot of resistance, I'm not gonna lie. But I've also witnessed profound changes in myself and clients. I see how teams, after countless discussions and not being able to agree on something, after they started drawing, they were able to see what other parties meant and were able to decide and agree in a way to move forward. I've seen people become better at problem solving and also work better together with their colleagues despite their differences. This is my journey. A journey where I turned a challenge into a tool that changed the way I worked and communicate with others. That gave me the confidence to put myself out there and to embrace problem solving. And I hope in doing so to inspire others to draw their own path. Embrace the power of pen and paper. Share your story with us and chart your road to success. It doesn't matter how unorthodox it might seem to others. Remember, whether you're a student working really hard to succeed in your studies, a professional working towards improving your problem-solving skills, or anyone looking to think more creatively, your journey towards doing something that no one has done before starts with a single stroke of a pen. So next time you need to clarify your idea, or you need to make sure that you're on the same page with someone, take a pen and a piece of paper or a napkin and tell them, let me draw what I mean. Gracias.